going on, everybody? And welcome back to another episode of the Chatting with Cheeze podcast. I'm your host, Fat Cheeze, and y'all already know the motto, no gimmicks, only the real. And this is episode 70. Now, y'all know what I need from y'all. Continue to smash that subscribe button. We are on the road to 400 subscribers. Also, do not forget to like this video and share the content when it drops. And let's go ahead and jump right into it. So first, we're going to start off with what I would say is the biggest story coming out of this past weekend, which is head coach Lane Kiffin officially leaving Ole Miss, headed to LSU to become their new head coach. So I'm going to go ahead and read off some of the things that I jotted down, and then I'm going to give y'all my thoughts and reaction on this. So LSU's courtship of Lane Kiffin has ended as he's leaving Ole Miss to take the job in Baton Rouge and will not coach the Rebels in the college football playoff. He announced both things Sunday afternoon, the culmination of a weeks-long saga that hung over the sport prompted vicious debate and put Kiffin in the unprecedented position of a head coach leaving his team and not coaching in the college football playoff. This was a very challenging, difficult day, Kiffin told ESPN's Marty Smith on Sunday. We went through a lot last night with Ole Miss athletic director Keith Carter trying to figure out a way to make this playoff run work and be able to coach the team. And at the end of the day, that's his decision, and I totally respect that. I understand that decision. I just totally wish the team the best of luck, wish that I was coaching. I just hope that they play really well and go win the national championship. His deal with LSU is a 7-year deal and is worth approximately $13 million annually, second highest in FBS behind Georgia's Kirby Smart, with the potential of bonuses, a source told ESPN, that will make Kiffin one of the highest paid coaches in college football. Ole Miss responded quickly, promoting defensive coordinator Pete Golding as the school's permanent coach soon after Kiffin left for LSU. Kiffin, who is 50 years old, and the Rebels just wrapped up an 11-1 regular season with a 38-19 win over rival Mississippi State, all but assuring them a berth in the 12-team college football playoff. Kiffin also sought the advice of former Alabama coach Nick Saban and Las Vegas Raiders coach Pete Carroll, his former boss at USC, over the past few weeks. In a statement issued to social media earlier Sunday, Kiffin said Carter denied his request to coach in the college football playoff despite the team also asking for Kiffin to be allowed to finish the season. Kiffin also told ESPN that he understands why he was told by Carter not to attend Sunday's team's meeting, but said, "I don't know if I totally agree. My heart was here at Ole Miss," Kiffin told ESPN, "but I talked to some mentors, Coach Carroll, Coach Saban, especially when Coach Carroll said, your dad would tell you to go take the shot." Kiffin, who told ESPN that he never gave ultimatums to his Ole Miss coaching staff. Ole Miss responded. Oh, I'm sorry. I think I put two things quick. So. This year under Kiffin, the Rebels finished the regular season with an 11-1 record, securing their first ever college football playoff berth and Kiffin's best season in terms of regular season wins. So I'm gonna go ahead and give y'all my thoughts on this. Skip that last part. I put moving too fast. I put the same sentence twice. My bad, but y'all know what y'all got it. So my thoughts on this is, honestly, I'm not surprised. It was entertaining while it was going on just to see all the storylines and everything coming out. But it was no surprise. Once I read that, he was weighing his options and he wanted to give it a little bit of more time, and Ole Miss was giving him an ultimatum about him making a decision quickly, I already kind of knew the tea leaves was already written that he was going to leave Ole Miss and go be the coach of LSU. This is what college football, just college sports in general has turned into. It's just turned into basically who has the most money and who has the most resources. I believe Ole Miss is a good school, but when you compare them to a school like LSU, I just think, when it comes to money and resources, LSU's going to take the cake on that one every time. And Lane Kiffin probably looked at it as to where, yes, we're having a great season here at Ole Miss, but he probably went into the season not expecting them to have this type of year. And he knows if he goes over to LSU, he can make the money that he wants, and also, he can get the bag that he wants, and also he's going to have the money to be able to build the kind of roster that he wants that's going to be able to compete for a national championship. Now, Ole Miss is in line to be able to compete this year, but, I just think he felt as though with the ADs and, that staff at Ole Miss giving him the ultimatum that they gave him, I just felt as though that he had to make a quick decision. And I'm pretty sure he wanted to coach the team going into the college football playoff. But, you got to look at it from their standpoint and the way that they looking at it. One, we already kind of know in the back of our mind you're planning on leaving. Number two, we're not going to allow you to coach. Let's just say, for instance, if Ole Miss was to go on a deep playoff run, we're not going to allow you the opportunity to coach, whereas though more than likely we already know you already planning on taking some of our guys off this staff. So we're not going to give you that opportunity to stay on coach and also be able to, talk and put your pitches into guys that you want to come over to LSU with you. Also, you got to think about recruits. It's a whole bunch that go into it. So I'm not upset with the ADs and the staff at Ole Miss for not wanting Lanekiffin to stay and coach throughout the playoff. My thing is, I just feel bad for the kids. I feel bad for, the kids that's been balling out this season that, were actually looking to this run and actually thought that, Ole Miss has a chance. And they still do have an opportunity. Now, don't get it twisted. This kind of does, put some air into their balloon a little bit, because you got to understand, Lanekiffin called plays for them, and it's just a lot. It can just be demoralizing. You got to think about the seniors who this is their final run. This is their final year. They don't know what's going to happen after this year. You got to think about them. I just feel bad for all of those, for those kids. I feel bad for those kids that recruited to Ole Miss believing that, Lanekiffin was going to be the coach. And the crazy thing about it is how things could switch up so fast is that Lanekiffin had been asked about this. I actually seen an episode of Pat McAfee that's now circulating where Pat McAfee was asking Lanekiffin about that, and he was actually in the room with one of the players basically saying that, I'm not going anywhere. And, it's just tough, man. It's just tough. But I think, and I don't know if I've been paying attention enough, but I think, honestly, the biggest storyline out of this whole Lanekiffin saga, I don't think has even been addressed. Like, I don't know, maybe I haven't been listening, but to me, the biggest issue of this whole situation should be with the NCAA and their scheduling. Because I just find it crazy that a school can be eliminated from the college football playoff. LSU is not going to the college football playoff. LSU, I don't know, they may get a bowl game or something like that. But I just find it absurd that a school with a school with the bag, basically. I'm sorry, I'm getting tongue twisted because I got a point that I'm trying to make, and I'm trying to get it to come out a certain way. I just find it absurd that the NCAA basically gives a green light to schools to be able to throw a bag of money at a coach and basically pull him from a team that is gearing up and getting ready to try to go on a run to win a national championship. Like, LSU is not in the college football playoff, but they just basically took a bag of money and said, here, Lanekiffin, took Lanekiffin from an Ole Miss team and basically just, put a dent in their season. Like, I'm not saying that Ole Miss doesn't have a shot to make a run and go to the national championship, because that very well can happen. But the likelihood of that, I think, is very slim now. But for LSU to just be able to go and take Lanekiffin off of that team while they're getting prepared to go into battle for a national championship, trying to make it to win a national championship, and pick off some of their coaches. I don't know what coaches are going with Lanekiffin to LSU. I just seen something. I think the offensive coordinator is going to stay for a playoff run, but the NCAA needs to look into that, and they need to do something with their scheduling. They need to fix the early signings or the portal, people entering the portal. Like, bro, the season is still going on. They need to do something to where no coach transaction or anything like that, nobody can enter the portal until the season is over. it's so unfair to the seniors on that team, to staff that's going to be there, that people, the players that's been there. It's so unfair that these guys are having an amazing season, 11-1, about to go in and have a chance to compete to go to the national championship. I believe they're going to have a home game, you know what I'm saying, depending on where they end up stack up in the rankings. And for them to just have their coach took from them, like, just like that, I mean, it's crazy. The NCAA needs to do something about that. I think that should be the biggest storyline to come out of this. And the crazy part about it is, the man that had the most to say about the scheduling issues was one of the people that gave Lanekiffin advice to go to LSU, which was Nick Saban. Nick Saban was literally complaining about the scheduling, and he's the one that, you know what I'm saying, basically told Lanekiffin he should take the job at LSU. I just think that's the biggest story, and not enough people are talking about it. Because now you got, you know, and hopefully these kids rally behind the defensive coordinator, Golden. Hopefully they rally behind him, and, you know, they make a push. But Lanekiffin was their play caller. They already talking about the offensive coordinator possibly going with them. It's just a whole lot, and that's a lot for you know, kids to, you know, kind of, you know, digest at one time, and then also have to snap back into it and be ready to go to battle to try to compete to get to a national championship. I just think that should be the biggest story. The NCAA has to do something about the scheduling, whereas though none of this stuff should be able to go down in season. None of it. Lanekiffin should have been able to continue to coach, and if he was going to take the job at LSU, it should have been after the season was over, or once Ole Miss had been eliminated from the college football playoff. There's no way that LSU should have just been able to come and basically grab Lanekiffin, and for him to have to get an ultimatum to make a decision during the season, in the heartbeat of the season. I just don't understand that. That's something that the NCAA absolutely needs to work on. I don't think it's right. I don't think it's fair to those seniors on that team. I don't think it's right to the fan base. I just don't think that's okay, and that's something that really needs to be fixed. The portal, early signing, all that stuff can wait until the conclusion of the season. That stuff shouldn't be going on when the season is. This right here is this is it. You have the conference championship games coming up, and then next in a couple of weeks, you're gonna have the college football playoff kicking off. And now Ole Miss is just without a coach. Like, come on now, NCAA, you gotta fix that. That's that right there to me is the biggest issue of this whole saga, that LSU was just able to come and grab Lanekiffin when his team is, you know what I'm saying, gearing up and getting ready to go on the run and could possibly make a push to the national championship. So that's my thoughts on this whole subject. I knew it was going to happen. Trust me, I'm a Maryland fan, even though it's two different sports. Hey, Ole Miss fans, I feel your pain. Kevin Willard did the same thing to us after last year. Basically, everybody already knew he was going to leave Maryland to go to Villanova. He denied. And at the end, once Maryland was eliminated from March Madness, he made the move. So, hey, I feel your pain, but this is what college sports has turned into. It's all about money and resources now. And I mean, if you check Lanekiffin's track record as far as a coach, I mean, he was only at Tennessee for a year, went to USC, left USC, went to Florida Atlantic, left there. He's been at Ole Miss for going on, 6 years since 2020. So, I mean, hey, and then he spent some time in Alabama. I mean, who knows? I mean, he a Rolling Stone, so who knows? One of his mentors is Nick Saban, so who's to say once that Alabama job becomes available, if it ever does, he might not be at LSU long. So we got to see, but it's going to be some pressure after, you know, this is basically another sexy signing for LSU. After this Brian Kelly thing didn't work out, everybody thought he was going to come in and national championships was going to follow. That didn't work. So now Lanekiffin, it's on you. And one thing we know, if this thing don't turn out the way it is, that LSU fan base will turn on you. And you will be on the hot seat very soon because they used to their coaches winning national championships. Ogeron, I don't want to pronounce his name. Coach O won a national championship. I believe Nick Saban. They used to championships down there. They used to national championship. So Lane Kiffin officially named the head coach of the LSU Tigers. And it's been crazy, but it is what it is. So I can't wait to see how this thing unfolds. And I'm definitely going to be paying very close attention to Ole Miss in this college football playoff run and, see how they do. Moving on, we're going to stick with college football. And the next thing that's been a big topic is Deion Sanders and the Coloradobuffaloes. This season has been terrible. And the question that I got is, did Coachprime get exposed this year as far as coaching? And I want y'all to comment down below and let me know what y'all think. Do y'all believe that Deion Sanders got exposed this year? Do you believe that he should get another shot? What do you feel? Do you feel next season Deion Sanders should be on the hot seat? Do you think he should be on the hot seat after this season? But I'm gonna read down what I jotted, and then I'm gonna jump into my thoughts on Coachprime in this season. So Colorado coach Deion Sanders made a bold promise about the future of his football team after the 24-14 loss at Kansas State on Saturday in the final game of his third season in charge. He called it the Last Supper, a biblical reference to the Last Supper of Christ before his crucifix and resurrection. After finishing the season with a 3-9 record, it was the last thing Sanders said to reporters before heading back home to make severe changes to his roster and coaching staff. If anybody's built to reconcile and to get this back on course, it's me, Sanders said after the game in Manhattan, Kansas. And I will do it. If it's the last thing I do on earth, trust me when I tell you, this was the Last Supper. God bless you. Sanders also reminded reporters that he is not a loser. I don't handle it well, he said. I don't coach well. The Buffaloes finished with 5 straight losses and beat only one team with a winning record in 2025, Iowa State. They were also 0-5 in road games and 1-8 in the Big 12 Conference. We won't be in this situation again. I promise you that, Sanders said. I can promise you that because I'm not happy with nothing right now. Nothing. Sanders said that change is the first order of business when he returns to Boulder. I see everything being different, even me, Sanders said, of next season. Senior quarterback Caden Salter made his 9th start of the season for Colorado, this time replacing freshman Julian Lewis, who sat out the game to take a redshirt year this season. Salter completed 14 to 25 passes for 172 yards with 1 interception. The Buffs used 3 quarterbacks this year, including two starts for Lewis and 1 for sophomore Ryan Stubb. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. We've been playing a lot of different quarterbacks, Salter said afterwards. Nobody really knew who that guy was from spring ball to now. Salter said that helped create a leadership void after the departure of last year's starting quarterback Shedeur Sanders, Deion's son. Sometime when it's 1 week you're starting here, then next you're on the bench. So now you want to listen to this guy instead of this guy, Salter said. So it was a lot of confusion in our room, but I'm sure next year they'll be way better with it. Changes are in store for his coaching staff. Running back coach Marshall Faulk is expected to be named the new head coach of Southern on Monday. Offensive coordinator Pat Shurmur was stripped of play calling duties this year with the contract expiring in January. Their roster is another matter. Sanders hopes to keep a core group of top players, including Lewis, the quarterback, who said he is committed to staying in Colorado. Standout offensive tackle Jordan Seaton might be a harder sell with 1 season left before he's expected to leave for the NFL. So my thoughts on this situation, do I believe Coach Sanders was exposed this year? I'm kind of 50-50 on that. I think he definitely deserves another opportunity because we've seen coaches be way worse at bigger schools and get far more opportunities to redeem themselves. I believe that after this season, this is a season that Coachprime is going to have to go in and go home and look himself in the mirror and get things figured out. I think that this was a wake up call for him. It's easy to talk about Louis bags and go out there and try to carry this weight. When you got Shedeur Sanders, when you got Travis Hunter, it's easy. When those guys leave, now this year is where the real coaching begun. because now you actually have to go out there on the recruiting trail. You actually have to get these kids to come to your school. You actually have to go sit on these couches, talk to these parents. And let's just keep it all the way a buck. Coach Prime felt like he didn't have to do that because I'm Deion. You know what I'm saying? I got Shador here. I got Travis here. Kids are just going to want to come here. Well, unfortunately, when you don't have those guys, that doesn't work. You actually have to put in the footwork to get these kids to want to come to your school. You know what I'm saying? And I think that was the biggest thing this year, just a lack of talent. And I felt as though the coaching staff was not very well put. Pat Shermer does not need to return as the offensive coordinator. He was horrible this year. The offense looked horrible. The defense was bad. It was just completely bad. And to come off of a season that you had last year, 9-4, to turn around and have a worse season than you did your first season in Boulder, you know what I'm saying? I just think it's a wake-up call, and this is something that Coach Sanders is going to have to go, and he's just going to have to look in the mirror. You know, you're not bigger than the program, and I understand you are Deion Sanders. Yes, you did what you did in your career, but that's you. You know what I'm saying? You have to go out here, and I understand with the health issues and things like that. You know what I'm saying? I get it. But you're going to have to go and look in the mirror and say, is this what I really want to do? And I love everything that he said in that press conference. So now we're going to see if changes are really actually going to be made. But you have to start by going out here putting foot to the ground and going out here and sitting in these living rooms with these parents and with these kids and getting them to come to your school, because I'm going to be honest with you, from what I've seen this year, I don't believe this is going to be a one-year fix. And Deion Sanders is absolutely going to be on the hot seat next year. If this team doesn't at least win 7 or 8 games, I don't see a scenario. If they turn around and have another season like this, I really could see it. I could see a scenario where Deion Sanders is not the head coach in Colorado anymore, because it's going to just look like that all he did was want to come here to get his sons and Travis Hunter to the NFL, and now he's not all the way bought in. You know what I'm saying? And that has been a topic. That has been a topic, and you know, people could say what they want, but at the end of the day, the proof is in the pudding. You gotta produce on the field. You have to put a good product out there on the field. And hey, when Deion first got to Colorado, they only won 1 game, so I commend them for that. But now that Travis is gone, now that Shador is gone, you have to show that you can still be able to put a competent football team out there, and you wasn't able to do that this year. So that's why I say I believe that he's going to have to take a long, hard look in the mirror. He's going to have to get out there, put his feet on the ground, go sit in those living rooms, man. Go get with these students. Go get with these high school kids. You know what I'm saying? I know it's cool to go and just hit up the transfer portal, but the transfer portal is only going to Band-Aid your problems. You got to go get these kids coming out of high school and you know what I'm saying, these top kids in Colorado, in that state. You have to go get them kids. That's how you build a foundation. You're not just going to build a foundation by keep going to go get these kids out of the transfer portal and thinking that that's just going to work, because eventually it's not. I just felt watching Colorado this year, it was just a complete lack of talent. You know what I'm saying? And it's just not going to cut it. It's just not going to cut it. And I just think that this whole roster needs to be revamped. The whole coaching staff needs to be revamped. You can't bring in your friends. And this is another thing. Just because you are a great player in the NFL, a Hall of Fame player, that doesn't mean you're cut out to be a head coach or a coach. Let's just keep that. Let's just be clear on that. I believe Deion Sanders is a good head coach. But a bunch of those guys that he got on his staff, those guys, just because they were great players in the NFL and Hall of Fame players, that does not mean that they were cut out to be coaches. You know what I'm saying? Hey, it just is what it is. We got to call a spade a spade. So I think that roster needs to be revamped. That coaching staff needs to be revamped. Deion need to go out there and get on the recruiting trail, get some of these kids, get some of those top players in Colorado, go out, do what you need to do, come back next year and have a bounce back year. Because if this team does not, I'm going to say, if this team doesn't at least win 7 or 8 games next year, I believe it's a possibility that we can be looking at Deion Sanders being fired as the Colorado Buffaloes head coach. And that's just me being realistic. And I love Coachprime. I done went to bat for Coachprime plenty of times on this platform. But at the end of the day, I just got to keep it 100. I got to keep it 100, man. So we gonna see. I can't wait to see how Coach Prime, flips and rebuilds this thing. And I'm definitely gonna be paying close attention next year when it happens. But all we can do is wait and see now. But this year was not it. 3-7, not a good look at all. So y'all comment down below and let me know what y'all think. Do y'all think Deion Sanders should be on the hot seat? How do y'all think Deion Sanders, can turn this thing around? Comment down below and let me know what y'all think. And I'm definitely going to be paying close attention. Moving on, we're going to switch to the NFL. And this topic right here is crazy because this is something that I've been thinking for a while, but I just was having conversations in my friend group. And now it's crazy because I'm starting to see, after this past Sunday, I'm starting to see national media talk about it and big people talk about it. So now I feel comfortable enough to bring it on my platform. I was actually going to bring it to my platform anyway, but now people talking about it, I feel way more comfortable, giving my opinion on it now. So going back to we're going to talk about the NFL. And the question that I have is, should Justinjefferson consider wanting out of Minnesota? Now, I'm going to keep it all the way 100. I've been thinking this for a while. But let me read what I jotted down, and then I'm going to give y'all my thoughts on this. So, Justinjefferson and the Minnesotavikings dropped their 4th straight game in Week 13, falling to 4-8 on the 2025 NFL season after a 26-0 blowout loss to the Seattle Seahawks. Now the Vikings will turn their attention to Week 14, hoping to end the drought at home against the Washington Commanders. Jefferson had his worst outing of the year, finishing with just 2 catches for 4 yards on 6 targets. And after second-year quarterback J.J. McCarthy disappointed by throwing 10 interceptions in 6 games, the Vikings turned to undrafted rookie Max Brosmer against Seattle. He didn't fare much better, completing 19 of 30 passes for 126 yards and 4 interceptions. After what was a promising 3-2 start to the season with McCarthy and Carson Wentz leading the charge, Jefferson and the Vikings have dropped 6 of their last 7 games, with their lone win coming in Week 9 against the Detroit Lions. Jefferson is also on pace for a below-average season by his standards, posting 62 catches for 799 yards and 2 touchdowns. And while Minnesota's postseason hopes continue to fade, Jefferson appears to be growing frustrated with the poor quarterback play following Sunday's loss. The wideout declined to speak with the media. Justinjefferson left the locker room after the Vikings lost today without talking to reporters. The Athletic's Alec Lewis wrote on X, "The Vikings say Justinjefferson declined to speak. First time that's happened since I arrived in 2022. The Vikings have had 3 different starting quarterbacks at some point this season: J.J. McCarthy, Carson Wentz, and Max Brosmer." So my thoughts on this whole Justinjefferson situation, I've been saying it all season, and I'm going to continue to say it. If I'm Justinjefferson, I'm going to give the Minnesota Vikings one more season to get this quarterback situation together. And if they don't, I'm going to demand a trade, because Justinjefferson is going to allow, if he stays in Minnesota with this quarterback situation, he's going to allow his talent to basically just go. He's basically just going to waste his talent there. He's not going to be able to win there or be able to compete for a championship there. He's not. Not with this quarterback situation. J.J. McCarthy has been underwhelming, to say the least. I mean, right now he looks like a bust. He doesn't look good at all, me watching him. And I had high praise for J.J. McCarthy when he was coming out of Michigan. I thought J.J. McCarthy was going to be good. I felt as though J.J. McCarthy was put in the best situation to win. J.J. McCarthy is not a good quarterback. And then you bring in Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz, we all know what he is. He'll make a play here and there, but Carson Wentz is terrible. And this guy, Max Brosmer, no disrespect, bro, you in the NFL, but he was awful. The plays, the interceptions that I seen him throw on Sunday, I mean, they were just literally right to the defense. I mean, he's getting sacked, throwing the ball underhand to the I mean, why would Justinjefferson want to sit there and play with that at the talent that he is? Justinjefferson, to me, when utilized correctly, is the best wide receiver in football. And for his quarterback play to be what it is, it kind of reminds you of what DeAndre Hopkins was dealing with in Houston. And you don't want your talent to just fade away because your quarterback play is so abysmal that you never get a chance to compete for a Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? It's just ridiculous. I think if I'm literally like, and I mean this, if I'm Justin Jefferson, I'm giving Minnesota 1 year to figure out this quarterback situation. And if they can't, I'm requesting a trade. He has no choice, because if not, he's going to stay in Minnesota for the remainder of his career, and he's never going to have a legit shot to compete for a Super Bowl, and he's too good for that. Jamar Chase is in a different kind of situation, because Jamar Chase actually has a franchise quarterback in Joe Burrow. He just can't stay healthy. The best quarterback Justin Jefferson has played with in Minnesota, you could argue, has been Kirk Cousins or Sam Darnold. And they didn't even want to pay Sam Darnold after what he just did last season in Minnesota. And look what he's doing now in Seattle. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm Justin Jefferson, I'm not going to sit back and allow my talent to just be wasted like this with this quarterback play. Every quarterback that has touched the field for Minnesota this season has been awful. Every one of them. And you out there playing with arguably one of the best duos in football in Justin Jefferson and Addison. You know what I'm saying? It's just bad. So if I'm Justin Jefferson, I'm giving them one more season. I'm not going to do it this year, but I'm giving them one more season. I don't know what their plans is going into the offseason, but if I'm him, I'm marching into that front office this offseason and saying, letting them know, y'all need to get this quarterback situation figured out. And if they can't do it, then he's going to have to demand a trade out of Minnesota. And I know my Minnesota fans probably not going to like hearing that, but at this point, it is what it is. We've seen so many great wide receivers or talents, you know, just basically fall to the wayside because the quarterback play has been so horrendous. DeAndre Hopkins is one that I could think of at the top of my head. You know, DeAndre Hopkins didn't get a chance to play with a good quarterback until, I mean, you could say when he went to the Cardinals with Kyler Murray, when he went to Patrick Mahomes with the Chiefs last year, he only played there for what? A little bit of, that wasn't really nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I just think Justin Jefferson, as good as he is, he's in the prime of his career. You don't want to let that talent just basically be wasted in Minnesota because they can't figure the quarterback play out, the quarterback situation out there. They should have kept Sam Darnold. And even though I'm not a full believer in Sam Darnold like that, to look what he's doing in Seattle and what he did last year for Minnesota, I guarantee you Justin Jefferson will have that 10 times over than what they had this year. And it's just crazy to watch J.J. McCarthy, because I was a big advocate for him coming out of Michigan. And I know I said that before, but it's just shocking to me to watch him. He just doesn't look good at all. He looks awful. He looks awful, and I know that they thought he was going to be the answer. They used a high draft pick on him, but right now he doesn't look like the answer. He doesn't look like it at all. So I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know if they need to maybe make a trade, but I don't even know a quarterback that you could really make a trade for. If I'm Justin Jefferson, no, and this is no disrespect to these guys, I don't want to play with a Mac Jones. I don't want to play with a Jameis Winston. I don't want to play with a Joe Flacco. I'm watching Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua with a Matthew Stafford. I'm watching CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens with a Dak Prescott. I'm watching, despite what people might say, Jalen Hurts is 10, 20 times better than the quarterbacks they got in Minnesota. Justin Jefferson would love to have Jalen Hurts over there right now. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, if I'm Justin Jefferson, like I said, and I said it before, I'm giving them one more year. And if they can't get this quarterback thing figured out, I'm asking out. Point blank period. But y'all comment below. Let me know what y'all think. Should Justin Jefferson stick it out and, you know, hang in there with him, or should he request a trade if they can't figure out this quarterback situation in Minnesota? I'm about to go ahead and get y'all these Week 14 predictions, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, man. So we're gonna start off with Thursday night. We got my Dallas Cowboys on the road going to Detroit to face the Detroit Lions. I'm gonna go with my Cowboys in that game. The reason why I'm gonna go with the Cowboys is because I still think the game is gonna be very good, but Detroit got a lot of injuries. Amon-Ra St. Brown, I don't believe is gonna play. Laporta is out. I believe their corner Arnold, I think he's out. Their safety Joseph is out. They got a lot of injuries in Detroit, and I just don't think right now the Cowboys, you could argue, is one of the hottest, or not the hottest team in the NFL. I just think that they go in there, and the Cowboys need this win. I believe whoever comes out as victorious in this game, has the best shot to probably make up ground and make a strong playoff push. I'm going to go with the Cowboys in that one on Thursday Night Football. Next up, you have the Tennessee Titans on the road versus the Cleveland Browns. I'm going to go with the Cleveland Browns in that one. Tennessee, you already know, they fighting for the top draft pick. Cleveland ain't no better, but I just think Cleveland has a little bit more than Tennessee. Hopefully Shador bounce back and they actually give him a chance to throw the football. Stefanski, y'all know my feelings about him. They need to get rid of him after this season, but I think they have a bounce back. They have a bounce back year. They have a bounce back season. I mean, a bounce back game this week, and I'm gonna go with Minnesota. I'm gonna go with Cleveland in that one. Next up, you got the Seattle Seahawks on the road versus the Atlanta Falcons. I'm gonna go with the Seattle Seahawks in that game. I think that Seattle's just on a roll, man. I think Seattle is one of the teams that you don't want to face right now. I think Seattle has a strong chance of coming out of the NFC and representing the NFC in the Super Bowl. I think they continue that role. I think that they beat Atlanta this weekend. Next up, you have the Indianapolis Colts on the road versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think that this game right here is going to be a good game because this is a division game, and the Colts just lost to the Texans, and I believe the Jaguars just won. So, that division is getting real unchy. That division is getting real unchy right now. So, I'm going to pick the Colts in that one. I think the Colts go on the road and get their face back. The Colts have had a great season, and, they lost to the Texans is really gaining ground. That defense is no joke. The number one defense in the NFL. I think the Colts get their face back against the Jaguars, and I think they win this game on Sunday. Next up, you have the Washington Commanders on the road versus the Minnesota Vikings. I'm going to go with the Washington Commanders in that one. I don't know the status of Jaden Daniels, if he's going to play or not. But like I said, we just talked about Minnesota and Justinjefferson. The quarterback play over there is terrible. So I don't have much faith in them. Not with those quarterbacks. I don't know. I believe J.J. McCarthy might actually play. I don't know. It doesn't even matter. Whoever they put out there at quarterback, they all terrible. I'm going to go with the Washington Commanders. I think Washington, even though they did lose in a close overtime game against the Broncos this past Sunday night, they showed some fight. Terry McLaurin being back. So I'm going to go with Washington in that one. Next up, you have the Cincinnati Bengals on the road versus the Buffalo Bills. And if this was a couple of weeks ago before Joe Burrow, I would have easily picked the Buffalo Bills. But with Joe Burrow being back and they just going on the road and getting a big-time win versus a hot Baltimore team, hey, listen, this game right here could be real close. I'm going to go with the Bengals. I'm going to go with Cincinnati to go on the road and win this ball game. I think with Joe Burrow being back, Jamar Chase, I believe T. Higgins will be back this week. That offense, we know what they are. When Joe Burrow is out there, he just gives that spark. He just gives that spark to that team. So I'm going to go with the Cincinnati Bengals in that ball game. I think they go to Buffalo and upset the Buffalo Bills on Sunday. Next up, you have the New Orleans Saints on the road versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm going to take Tampa Bay easily. I think Tampa Bay washes the New Orleans Saints. New Orleans, you know what they looking for. They fighting along with Tennessee for a top draft pick. Next up, you have the Pittsburgh Steelers on the road against the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens to get their face back in this one. I think the Steelers are reeling. Aaron Rodgers starting to get a lot of injuries. He's dealing with the hand and wrist injury. Then he got a cut on his nose this past Sunday, and that offense just doesn't look all that. And I don't know. I think Baltimore wins that game and kind of gets things a little close in that division because Baltimore, I believe, is still alive to win that division. So I think Baltimore gets their face back after losing to Cincinnati on Thanksgiving. That's going to be another good one, but I'm going to go with Baltimore on that one. Next up, you have the Miami Dolphins on the road versus the New York Jets. And I'm going to shock y'all, but I'm going to pick the Jets to win that game. You never know what you get from the Dolphins, but what I do know is it's going to be cold. And I know Miami do not like playing in cold weather. And the Jets just beat the Falcons this past weekend. I'm going to go with the Jets to get back-to-back victories. I'm going to pick them to win this Sunday. Next up, you have the Denver Broncos on the road against the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm going to go with the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos are one of the best teams in the AFC. That defense is legit. And come on now, if you've been watching the Las Vegas Raiders, I shouldn't even have to explain why I'm picking anybody over them. Next up, you have the Los Angeles Rams on the road versus the Arizona Cardinals. I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Rams in this game. I think they get their face back after a tough loss in Carolina this past weekend. I think Matthew Stafford bounces back. He had a couple of turnovers in that Carolina game, and I know they probably felt like that's a game that they shouldn't have lost, but I think they bounce back and get their face back this week against the Cardinals. Next up, you have, this is going to be a huge game, and this one I'm definitely going to be tuned into. You have the Chicago Bears on the road versus the Green Bay Packers. And when the season first started, I guarantee you nobody could have pictured the Chicago Bears to be having the season that they having. They just went and dominated the Philadelphia Eagles on the ground with that run game. Caleb Williams is playing some good football. That wide receiver group, them tight ends are playing good. That defense is middle of the pack, but they bend them and not breaking. On the other side, you got Green Bay, who's playing good football. That defense with Micah Parsons leading the charge. Jordan Love, that running game, they finally got Josh Jacobs back on Thanksgiving. He played some good football. That running game looked good. I'm going to go with Green Bay in this game. I think they're going to split the series. And I have Green Bay winning in Green Bay and Chicago winning in Chicago. So I think since this week is going to be in Green Bay, I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers to win. I think it's going to be a very close ball game. And it could come down to a last possession, whoever gets the ball last. But I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers in that one. Next up, you got the Houston Texans on the road facing the Kansas City Chiefs. And I think this is a make-or-break game for the Chiefs. I think if the Chiefs lose this ball game, then you can count them out for the playoffs. The Texans are playing some good ball. That defense is legit. Number one defense in the NFL. But I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs. I can't bet when his back is against the wall in Kansas City, in Arrowhead, I can't go against Patrick Mahomes. I'm going to go with Patrick Mahomes and them to keep their slim playoff chances alive. I think they beat the Houston Texans in a close one. And I could be wrong on this one. I could be very wrong on this one because, like I said, I think that the Houston Texans are playing some great football right now, that defense. But I can't bet against Patrick Mahomes. So I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs to win on Sunday Night Football in Arrowhead in a close one. And finishing up, we got the Monday night game, the Philadelphia Eagles on the road versus the Los Angeles Chargers. And the Eagles have not looked good. Back-to-back losses. That offense looks terrible. And the defense basically got ran all over on Black Friday by the Chicago Bears. The defense, which had been their strong suit all these weeks, you know what I'm saying, got rolled over on Black Friday, you know what I'm saying? And they probably just exhausted. The offense can't sustain long drives. The defense out there constantly. They like, man, we can't keep saving y'all. But as much as it pains me to say it, I think the Eagles get their face back Monday night. I think the Eagles go to Los Angeles and beat the Chargers. The Chargers just fool's gold to me. You just never know what you're going to get from the Chargers. And then Justin Herbert dealing with a hand injury. You just never know what you're going to get from the Chargers. I mean, one day they might show up and play lights out, and then the next they'll lose to somebody who they shouldn't lose to. It's just, you never know what you get from the Chargers. It's just too much inconsistency with them. So I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles to get their face back and break that 2-game skid against the Chargers. And I'm picking the Eagles to win on Monday night. And that's going to do it for episode 70, man. I appreciate y'all for tapping in with me each and every week. New Year coming up, man. This year is about to be wrapped up, so I appreciate y'all for tapping in. I'm going to try to drop as much content as I can before this year is over. But for those of y'all that rock with me and lock in with me each and every week, I appreciate y'all. Y'all know where to find me. Do not forget, smash that subscribe button. We are on our way to 400 subscribers. Also, like this video. Do not forget, don't just watch the video. Make sure you like it, and also share the content when it drops to your friends, family, whoever your associates, man. Make sure you share it with them, get it out there, help me out. and I'm going to keep making sure I drop this content for y'all, man. I appreciate y'all. See y'all next time.